Okay, so today I am going to show you how to make a ribbon or a zipper flower, like the one that I made recently for my Stop Hiding and Just Have Fun page. It's a fairly simple thing to make. It does require a little bit of sewing, and I'm not much of a sewer, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. What you need to get first is a zipper. You can get them at Walmart for about $1.50. Hobby Lobby has them for $2 and under, and you have to separate it apart. You just have to cut on each end the stops off and take the zipper apart, and then you just use the 1/2 side. You need a ribbon. I love ribbon today for whatever reason. You need a needle and a thread. This is a doubled up thread just to give it a little bit more stability, and jewels for the center. And then I used my tonic scissors to cut the zipper as needed. So if you need to cut a piece off of the zipper, it does it pretty easily. If you don't, then a rotary cutter would probably work pretty well if you have one of those. Not like the rotary paper cutter, but a rotary cutter like you would use for quilting. To get started, you take the flower and you just kind of double it over on the end, so it's a pretty small piece, and then you start rolling it. And the idea is to keep it tight and also even. And sometimes I have trouble getting it to start. There we go. And then after 2 or 3 rolls, you can hear my kids and family in the background, because that's what I do, is scrapbook while Daddy entertains them. Then, okay, so you can see here, it's rolled up pretty good and tight. So then what you do next is you take your needle and thread and you just run a couple stitches through it. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You do not have to have much skill. Just be able to run somewhat of a stitch through this. See, I can't even keep it from tangling, so that ought to tell you how skilled I am at this. And I'm just doing 2 stitches more, just so that it has something to hold it together, so I can do the rest. And more tangles, because I really do not sew, which is a surprise, I'm sure. And also, you notice my thread doesn't match. I didn't think I had enough to actually buy thread that matched my zippers. Thought I had clear thread at home, and I was wrong. So, okay, we have our tight little center for our middle rosette, and now what we have to do is just some looser runs through, and just run the ribbon up, or the thread. I've got ribbon on the brain. The thread up through, and then you just go back down it. And I'm kind of coming out on the side, if you can see it, kind of coming out on the side so that I can grab the bottom of the zipper on this side, kind of pull it all together so that it looks more like a flower and less like a crazy concoction. Okay, and gonna do one more little wrap.
Sorry, Daddy.
Aren't they so polite to each other in there?
Daddy, I'm supposed to be in the woods. Why?
Okay, so got a little bit of a crazy concoction going here. Then what you have to do next is just kind of wrap the ribbon like this so that the zipper side still stays up and then it kind of comes through. What I need to do is bring the thread down and through the zipper so that it is at the bottom. And then now I have my thread pulling through the bottom. I just kind of work out a petal that I will be happy with. Okay, there we go. And you just kind of stitch up through. I just kind of stitch up through the rows so that it always runs up and down center. And as many times as I've done this, I've never pulled it through the same hole. So, like I said, if I can do this, pretty much anyone can, because I can't sew at all. I can't even darn socks. So I've got it secured. Now I am going to do the next petal. Okay, we're just gonna poke that flower through, poke that needle through the flower. And just keep sewing it. And none of them will ever really look completely the same, because that is the beauty of handmade. Okay, and the third petal. They are having a lot of fun playing Mario Kart. Okay, and we have 2 more petals to go. The object is to try to make sure you have enough zipper to do all 5. You could do 4 if you wanted, I suppose. I shouldn't tell you how many flower petals to have on your flower. I just like 5 because I think odd numbers look better. I'm a little OCD like that. Okay, and we have our last petal, and sometimes because how you stitch it all together, it ends up kind of funky and sometimes a little midgety. Like I didn't have enough Velcro, I used too much on the rosette, but you can still make it work. It'll just be a little bit more involved. There we go. See how I have it kind of as close to the center as I can get it, and then you just run your thread up through it. It means you have to fasten it a little bit more, so you have to add a couple more stitches. But no one will see it. Once it's all said and done. Ouch. That is why I generally run it up and through, but I'm trying to secure it a little better. I'm not wearing a thimble, and it hurt. Alright, we're gonna do one more up and one more down. Okay, and then you just finish off. What I usually do is go under a couple stitches with my needle and then wrap it a couple times. Again, nothing too fancy because I have no clue how to do all that fancy stuff. And it doesn't have to be perfect as long as it basically stays. Okay, so then you have your 5 petals, and then you finish it off with a jewel just so that you get you get the full effect. And you just kind of take the jewel and push it in, and sometimes I have to take my scissors and press on the side so that I get it placed how I want it. Got kind of deep in there, but that's alright. So that is how you make it. I'd love to see the ones that you come up with. You can post them here on my blog, post a link to the page, post a link to your blog entry, whatever you want. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. Thanks. Have a good night.